Mic check. If anyone's out there, holler. Let Nemo know you can hear him. Oh, Ben, what's cooking? How do I sound? Look, I got a new fancy mic, like a professional, you know. Oh, dude, this is so weird with the new. I got a new phone. Trying to get it angled right, it's like so much wider. Let's see if we move this, what it looks like. Is this a better angle? I think this is a better angle. I do not like this. All right, whatever. Who cares? All right. All right, Ben says hello. What's up, Ben? Rolex, yo, what's cooking? Rolex, RSL, yeah. RSL makes good stuff, man. If you want your dollar to go as far as humanly possible, RSL is going to be tough to beat. I mean, that's just a fact, you know. By the way, guys, in the chat, let me know, how is this new mic? Trying to get some better sound quality for you guys. You know, I got a new phone, so the video quality should be better. Got a new mic. I just filmed the Cabas Murano video last night with the new mic and with the new phone. I think it turned out pretty good. I'm surprised to see what, I'll be curious to hear your guys' feedback. Ben says both look good. Billy says in the house. What's up, Billy? I always appreciate you. Billy says I am not a house. Debatable, debatable. Rolex says he just got his dual 12S's delivered. Oh man, give us some impressions. Rolex, give us some impressions. And if you're in the Discord, please post up what that looks like in your space. You know what I mean? Because those are some honking large subwoofers. We all know they just absolutely pound. They got solid transients. I mean, those things are a beast. You know, those are a beast of a subwoofer right there. Cyphonics, hey, what's up, man? Good to see you. Says the sound is okay. Rolex says sounds good. Quanticus. I don't know why that took me a while to say Quanticus. That's not the hardest name to say. Perfect, awesome. Richard McCoy, I'm sick. I'll try not to get you all sick. Yeah, bro, you know, if you're sick, you got to stay home. You can't be coming out to these live streams. You're going to spread your germs. Just kidding, of course. Rolex, thank you for the $1.99 super chat. I appreciate it. Ben says people on ABX audiophile are going nuts about the Cyan 2 on the Platamon. Says it is like tubes in the system with the Orchard audio amp. Let's take a look at this Cyan 2. What is? I'm guessing that's a DAC. Yeah, it looks like that's a DAC. See what this thing costs. I know that stuff's not cheap. Not too expensive. $1,198 for the Cyan. Guessing that's an R2R DAC. Let's have a look. Yeah, R2R DAC. I mean, could be the new like $1,000 option. I wonder how that compares to something like an Aries. I'll see if I can get my hands on one for review. Right now, the DAC I've got in for review is the Live Harmony. And that's a pretty amazing DAC, but it's a very different price point. Middle Earth, I've had the Cyan 2 for a couple of months, and it is killer. This is the first I'm hearing of this DAC. I didn't know about this. Is this a new model, guys? Did this just come out recently, or has it been in the market for a while and it's only getting some attention now? I'd be curious to know, because it's got to be new, actually, because the Holo DACs, all the ones I saw the last time I looked into the brand, they were all like $3,000. They didn't have a $1,000 DAC, so this has got to be new. Siphonic says, yeah, for real, I think there's a flu going around. Keep clean, people. Yeah, I mean, it's the season. The last quarter of the year is generally considered flu season. You know, October, November, December. That's when people, you know, get a little cough, a little head cold, things like that. You know, wash your hands as usual, should be fine. Let's see here. Where did I leave off? Middle Earth says Cyan 2 has 0 features, so not for everyone. That's for me. I like a DAC that doesn't have a lot of features, honestly. I've seen DACs like the RME 80i2, for example, where you just have a ridiculous amount of setup options, and I find it overwhelming. That's not for me. I want something more simple. That's why I've always loved my Denafrips Aries, because it was just such a simple set it and forget it solution. But, you know, different strokes for different folks. Guys, bear with me. I'm going to try to rotate this camera. I'm not loving the way I look on frame. So give me like 30 seconds. You're going to see me fumbling around like an amateur. I got to try something. Close up. Let's see if this, whoa. Does this work? Orientation's locked. Can't do that. Fuck. Well, I was trying to rotate it, guys, because it's all like freaking wonky, but it doesn't look wonky to you. It's wonky to me, just so we're clear. So, see, this is the difference between Nemo propaganda and the professionals. The professionals have this stuff set up, but you come over here and it's amateur hour. You know what I'm saying? That's a little bit better. You know what it is? It's my OCD's cooking. That's what it is. All right, that's going to be good enough. So back to the chat. So we left off Middle Earth saying the Cyan 2 has 0 features. It's a minimalist DAC, it sounds like, but like I said, that I'm into that. I love that. I don't love when products have a bajillion amount of setup options. I like stuff to be minimal. I don't want to tinker. When I'm listening to my music and I'm kicking back and relaxing, I want to be in the zone and not having to fiddle around with a bunch of settings personally. But I know some people love to fiddle fuck and tinker and mess with settings, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not judging anyone who's into that. Where did we leave off on the chat? The DSD conversion helps the Platinum supposedly, is what Ben is saying. Ben, I don't know what DSD is. I don't even know what that means, honestly. I think that's a sound format when you're like streaming from a PC, but I don't stream from a PC. I just use a Blue Sound. Can Blue Sound users use DSD, or is that a computer-only thing? Someone tell me. Ben says no remote. Yeah, no remote is something that does bother a lot of people when it comes to DACs. All the Denafrips stuff, as great as it is, it doesn't have a remote. And that's one of the things a lot of people love about that Live Harmony DAC. It comes with a remote. Ilian Stomanov says, Cyan is very highly praised DAC. You can watch the Hans B. Kusen review in detail. And yes, it's a new one on the market. Okay, cool. I'm happy someone mentioned Hans B. Kusen. I've watched his content for quite a while, and the dude, he goes into the tech like no other. He talks about the circuitry. He shows you the internals of the products. He doesn't really go over what stuff sounds like, though. So if you like to hear a description of the sound, you're not going to get that. It's more of a technical overview, but he does incredible work, and I really respect his knowledge and experience in delivery. Oh, that's better. Okay. Middle Earth says IIWI and Hans B. Kusen both put it in their second tier reference over live. I don't know what that means in terms of how they reference things. By the way, did you guys know IIWI stands for Is It Worth It? I didn't know that. I just learned that recently, but that's another cool reviewer that does really good work. He just reviewed the Platinums, and I thought he did a fantastic job in his video. He went over a ton of stuff. If you haven't seen IIWI review the Platinums, check it out. It's a great video. Ben says it's a toggle between PCM and DSD. I'm sorry, brother. Maybe my knowledge on the topic is too limited to understand your explanation, and that's on me. I just, that doesn't mean anything to me. It doesn't click. Stefan retracted his message. I always wonder why people retract their message. What is that? What does that mean? You know, did you type something and then change your mind? Or is it something? Is it like an auto moderation of YouTube? I'd be curious. Todd T says there's no input selector buttons on the cyan, would be questionable and a potential deal breaker depending on your use case. That's interesting. The Aries 2 is a pretty minimalist DAC, and even that has input selectors on the front. But honestly, I've never used them, but I'm a single source guy myself. But I could see how that could be problematic for some people. That's a good point, Todd. Larry says, time to get your vaccines, new flu and COVID versions out. We're not going to talk about that. Quanticus, but does it sound better than my Cord Hugo 2? I don't know who you're asking. I don't know. Cord, from what I've heard, the Cord DACs are going to be more for that detail-focused customer. You like that more analytical presentation. Maybe, you know, you're into headphones. You want to hear as much into the recording as possible. That's what Cord DACs bring to the table. R2R is a little bit different. Oftentimes, in one way or another, you're giving up that hyper detail presentation. You're still getting a tremendous amount of detail, but what you're gaining more is tonal richness, nuance, soundstage expansion, and just some other aspects of sound that the Delta Sigma or non-R2R DACs generally don't bring to the table as much. I've always viewed R2R and non-R2R a lot like tube amps and solid state. They're different. Each one has its strength, and it's just personal preference. GC Soundscape says, just got my Fritz Carbon 7 SE Mark II speakers. Wow, thanks for the review. You did that. Introduce them to me. Oh, cool. Hey, I'm happy to hear that, man. I'm happy to hear that my reviews would introduce you to that speaker. Yeah, look, the Carbon 7 SE Mark II is freaking awesome. It's $2,800, so it's only about $300 more than most of the other speakers around that price, like your R3 Meta, your S400, your Totem Bison, your ATC SCM11, and this and that. It's a little bit larger, and I don't want to say it's necessarily better than like all of them, because personal taste is a big factor here, but some of the things it could do are quite remarkable. It can be really easy to set up and really trouble-free. You can pair it with inexpensive amplification and just get great sound that's going to easily compete with, you know, the $2,500 speakers. Or you can connect some more expensive gear to it and start to really get a sound that is more on par with the speakers that are closer to $5,000, honestly. Ben says it's basically upsampling in some cases. Okay. Oh, DSD. Okay. All right, cool. And I'm guessing it is something that just you got to be using a computer or something, I'm guessing, to have DSD, or do some streamers have DSD as a format? I've never seen that on like Tidal, you know what I mean? Anyways. DODPR says, what is on the TV cabinet? What do you mean, like over there? That is going to mostly always be the same. Hagel H190, Supermon Mini, bookshelf speakers. I don't know if you could see my PC. It's over here. I have an NZXT H1 gaming PC and a couple of little pictures. But yeah, it's the Hagel H190 and the Supermon Minis by Mon Acoustics. And then I have a KEF KC62 behind my couch. That's just like the Netflix rig. And the TV is a 77-inch LG C1 OLED. Stefan says, Stefan Olson says, suggest a simple to use living room, 580 square meter. Guys, do me a solid, please. When you ask for like help, please use Imperial. Otherwise, I gotta take a second and do the conversion. I'll do the conversion, but it would be quicker if you used Imperial measurements. But he's saying his room's 500. He wants me to suggest a simple to use living room, stereo system, amp towers, Only streaming, live in EU, budget 4K, like to play loud plus 90 dB. Amp with streamer or separates. That's tough, brother, because I don't know all of what's available in Europe, and I'm not the tower speaker guy. I'm more doing bookshelf speakers, integrated amps, subwoofers, things like that. If you don't mind me giving you that recommendation with bookshelf speakers, I'm happy to do that, but let's look up what 580 square meters is, 2 square feet. So 580 square meters is 6,002. Oh, that's crazy. There's no way you can't have a 6,300 square foot room, bro. It's like, that's like a warehouse, man. Maybe you meant cubic. Give me your dimensions in feet, length, width, and depth, length, width, and height, bro, and I'll answer that question. Remind me your budget's 4K and you need a whole system. Oh, it looks like you just said something. 580 square meters. Yeah, they came out to like 6,000 square feet. Oh, okay. Stefan's saying no, it's 580 square feet. That makes more sense, bro. I was like, this man's in a warehouse. You're going to need more than $4,000 with 6,000 square feet. 6,000 cubic feet, I could understand, but so let me check something here. I mean, that's still like a big room. What do you like? 16 by 26 or something like that? I mean, that's a big room still, man. I don't know if I can recommend for a room that big because that's not really a bookshelf speaker room. But for a streamer, I would do something like a Blue Sound node paired up with a LHY power supply as my source. For amplification, I would do something like I mean, you want to get loud, you know what I mean? You want to get loud. You could do something like the Billy amp. That's 2,000. Let's see if we can go cheaper. I mean, you could do something like an Emotiva TA2. That's got a solid amount of power, or Iota VX SA40 or Outlaw RR2160 and have a lot of power on tap and then do the rest on towers. Or you can go more in on the amp, go for something higher quality, which is what I would do. All to your towers. But if that were me, that would be like I would do bookshelves and subs because that's just my thing. I don't know much about towers. All right, let's see where I left off. Sorry, I feel like that wasn't the most helpful. Quanticus, I'm thinking to get a second SVS SB1000 Pro. What's your guys' opinion on a second sub? Yeah, do it. Everyone's going to say do it. No one's going to tell you not to get a second sub. Dual subs is awesome. Get another SVS SB1000 Pro, have matching dual subs. You're going to love it. Of course you're going to love that. The only reason I would tell you not to do that is if finances were tight, and finances are tight for a lot of people right now. And if you like just didn't have the money or something like that, it'd be like maybe wait a little bit. But if you can afford it, I mean, everyone loves dual subs. DODPR says, remember those Wadia DACs? Wonder what happened to them. No, never heard of them. Actually, never heard of them. Ben says the Cyan can convert PCM to DSD. I still don't know what that means. I'm sorry, guys. Everyone's idle. Goro, what's up, man? Happy to see you in the stream. He says, no streaming services offer DSD to my knowledge. It's pretty rarely used. Many streaming boxes still support it, but you'll need to get them from a website and stream them from your PC. Thank you, brother. That is the information I was looking for. That's what I thought. That makes more sense. That's why I'm not familiar with it, because I do not use a PC to stream. Okay. Ty says, my next upgrade path, Hecko 700 towers versus CSS DIY kit. Oh, listen, if you watched my Hecko Aurora 300 review, I talked about something like this. The Hecko Aurora sound is very much like the CSS 1TD sound, like the non-X. They're both like a little darker, really warm, really powerful bass. The Hecko's finished. The CSS is DIY. The CSS is quite a big step up just overall in sonic quality, the tightness in the bass, how powerful it is. So if you've got the patience to know how to build the kit, the CSS is a big upgrade on the similar sound that is the Hecko Aurora. So absolutely go the CSS. It's a similar sound to the Aurora, just a big upgrade. You're gonna love it. Unless you want a bright sound. The CSS 1TD sound is a little bit darker, tonally richer, more organic. Go for the X if you want a little more air up top. Where did I leave off? Middle Earth says, I did the DSD upsampling and did not like it at all with the Cyan 2. Definitely watch his review. He covers it. Yeah, I mean, different strokes for different folks, right? That's one of the things about this hobby. Watch any DAC review where the DAC has an OS and an NOS option. You'll get half the people saying they preferred the NOS and the other half saying they preferred the OS. A lot of this hobby is about personal preference, guys. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? Like, I love the Platimon speakers. Some people don't. I think those people are haters, but whatever. Trent Walker saying Stefan is a billionaire. Yeah, if his living room was 6,000 square feet, Stefan would have some seriously deep pockets and we'd all be really jealous. Ali Alamari says, what do you think to use Platimon VC1 speakers as a desktop speaker or close to the wall? You know, bro, I couldn't tell you because I don't have a near field setup myself. Most speakers, you shove them up against the wall, you're going to lose some imaging. Most rooms are going to image best with the speakers pulled out into the room. They're going to have the just a little bit, at least a foot. Most rooms are going to also give you a little bit better bass tightness and control with the speakers pulled out into the room just a little bit. Shoved against the wall all the way, you're usually sacrificing imaging, soundstage, and you're going to boost your bass, and it could overload the room and make it a little bit muddy. I'd say it's not ideal for any speaker. It doesn't mean you can't do it. You could do it if that's all you can do, but the Platimon being a virtual coaxial, I think it needs at least a few feet, you know, between you and the speaker, because it's, you know, you got your mid, your tweeter, your mid, and by the time they reach you, it sounds like it's all coming from the same thing. And if you're too close, you might lose a bit of that effect. It's also not small. That would be a big speaker to put on a desk. Stefan, yeah, dude, you're going to have to correct yourself for the rest of this stream. Yeah, guys, it was 580 square feet. Let's see. Ed says, hey, Nemo, how's it going? Nice mic. Thank you, bro. Thank you. I'm just trying to be a professional like all the big dogs, you know? No, honestly, you know, it was kind of a treat for myself. I was using that little Rode Wireless Go 2 kit for many years. And I figured, you know, I already hold a mic in all my reviews. Why don't I get something like a little nicer to hold, something that's going to sound a little bit better? If I'm already willing to hold it, might as well have a full-size condenser and get some better sound quality, you know? Also, much better battery. This thing's got like a 17-hour battery, whereas like the Wireless Go 2 kit, you know, that battery can drain in as little as, you know, I'd say 5 hours. You know, and that might sound like a lot of filming time, but think about it. You have some bad takes, you know, you got to go grab some water. A filming session could be quite a few hours, you know. Trent says, Wadia, MSB Tech, and EMM Labs, Meitner made the most expensive DACs back in the day. Yeah, I've seen some of that MSB stuff. I saw like a MSB Stack at Exponent. It did not look cheap. Hardeep Singh says, quick question. The REL T-Series subs seem so low powered. Do those subs actually have the grunt for both music and movies? Looking at a sub with high level input? So that's a good question, Hardeep, and I can totally understand that concern. In today's world where there's a lot of subs you can buy with, 500, 800, 1,000 watts, the Rel TX range is going to seem like it doesn't have a lot of power, but those are very efficient subwoofers, so those watts go a little bit further than you'd expect. Now, let's keep in mind, those Rel TX subwoofers like the T5X, the T7X, even the T9X, these are not large subwoofers. They're fairly compact. So they're going to have limited output just based on their physical size. If you want a Rel with a lot of output, that's what their Series HT is for. Well, I would say a lot of output for the money. But a T7X, look, would I run a pair of T7Xs for theater? I might, but I don't think most people would be super satisfied with running dual 8-inch subs for theater. I think kind of the minimum for most people's theater would be something like a 12-inch. That's what I think, or even a pair. Maybe a pair of small 10s like the 1003 Mark II would get the job done for some people, or a pair of T9Xs, but I think most people in a dedicated home theater are going to want dual 12s. Yeah, man, I know you're saying you want high level. Can you clarify why do you want high level? Because unless you absolutely need it, it seems like you're just really limiting your options for no reason. Quanticus, the only thing I read is that a dual sub setup is more complicated to get it to sound right. Yeah, that's true. It can be, yeah, man. You can, run into some phase issues. One sub can be canceling out the other one a little bit. That kind of stuff can definitely happen. But, what you do is you get that first one set up well. Then you introduce the second one and you get that thing dialed in. And yeah, look, the more drivers you have, just the more complicated things are going to be. That's hi-fi. Just the more components you have, the more settings you have to adjust, the more it's going to take to get everything dialed in. That's nothing new. That is true. Richard McCoy, message retracted. Richard, what does that mean when message is retracted? Did you delete your own message, or did YouTube auto-moderate something you said because you were being a smartass? I'm curious. I've always wondered. Billy says, I played with the filters on my Aries 2 for a few days and then realized I should just stop pushing buttons and just enjoy the music. Yeah, in my opinion, the filters on the Aries are going to be more for the headphone guys. If you're using that DAC for a 2-channel stereo, I don't think those filters make too much of a difference. But from what I've heard, when you're using headphones, it's more of a difference. Ilian says, actually, my Davis acoustic started sounding great and having soundstage once I put them near the wall in between furniture, believe it or not. Accidental discovery. I could see that, man. I mean, there's no absolutes in this hobby. No advice is going to be a one-size-fits-all. The speakers I just reviewed recently, the Fine Audio Vintage 5s, those like to be further back against the wall than most speakers in my room. So there's definitely going to be some room and speaker combinations that might require setup that is historically very perhaps frowned upon, and it's going to sound great. That doesn't surprise me. And you know what? And shame to anyone who would fault you for doing that or trying that. I think too many people in this hobby get trapped in a box and just believe like this is how it should be. And if your system is not like this, it's bad. If you don't have a rug in your room, it's bad. And they get like all upset. And I think that's silly. All right, where did we leave off? Ed says, you already a pro in our eyes. Thank you, Ed. I appreciate that. I might be a pro in terms of the effort I put into, auditioning the gear, talking about it. I do take that really seriously. I have a lot of pride in my ability to just be as accurate and convey as much information as possible without a script, just kind of off the cuff in a casual way. But let's be honest, my production quality is not like Andrew Robinson at all, right? I mean, that guy's videos, they're so good, they look like they could be like on TV, like on actual broadcast TV, like if Netflix had a hi-fi review channel, it would look that good, Ali Alamari says, what's your upcoming speakers to review? Last night, I just filmed the review for the Cabas Murano. Listen, guys, if you're in the market for a set of speakers around 2K, the Cabas Murano are better than everything. They're normally $4,400 for the pair. They're on an end-of-life sale. They're being clearanced for 50% off. They are better than everything at that price. $2,196 is what the pair costs now from Upscale Audio. The build quality, the bass power, the mid-range expansiveness, the detailed treble that's still layered within the soundstage, perfection, beautiful. There's no speaker you're gonna find around $2,000 that even comes close. It literally shits on everything at that price. And I mean, it should. It originally sold for $4,400. I believe that Cabas Murano is the best deal in hi-fi we've seen all year, without a doubt. Some other stuff, I got the SVS Ultra bookshelves, the full-size ones. I did already review the Nano. I got the Spendor Classic 3.1 in for review. I have the Serwin Vega LA 165s in for review. I think that might round out all the speakers I have in for review right now. Middle Earth says, holding the mic seems like serious investigative reporting. I think it's cool and old school. Yeah, I mean, me too. That's how I feel. I feel like it's just kind of old fashioned, and it's my style now. And I'm the guy that holds the mic, sits on a subwoofer, and mostly talks about subwoofers. Ben says, I thought dual subs were easier to set up. I guess I got lucky. Maybe. I mean, in some rooms, maybe it is easier, you know, especially if maybe if a single sub has just nasty spikes in your room. I could totally see dual subs seeming easier to set up. Hardeep Singh says, my amp is a Denon A110. It's a music first amp, no sub output. I'm 60% music, 40% movies. Thanks for the advice. Have you seen my review of the Scosche line output converter? That allows you to add subwoofer outputs to any integrated amp. That might be worth a look. They're like $25, and they convert your high-level speaker terminals to RCA outputs, so you can run any subwoofer. Let me see if I can link it in the chat for you, Hardeep, so you could watch it later. I can't find it, but if you look up my Choco Ime review, it's linked in the description of the Choco Ime review. But look, it's this simple. If you're gonna run a Rel TX sub and you're gonna use it for movies too, I'd recommend the T9X. At least that way you're getting a 10-inch that can have more grunt to it, and you're getting 300 watts RMS, Class AB powered. That's what I would do. I'd get a Rel T9X and consider adding a second one maybe in a year or something as, you know, more money becomes available. I mean, you do have other options. There are other subs with high level, but I understand, you know, it sounds like you want a Rel. You've heard great things about them. I don't blame you for that, but you could get like an RSL Speedwoofer 10S Mark II. It doesn't obviously have the same sound quality as a Rel T9X, but it will play substantially louder if you want a sub that's going to be primarily for theater, and that does have high-level inputs. There's actually a ton of subs with high-level inputs. Richard McCoy says, I took it off because reading is a skill, and I realized I totally read Hardeep's message wrong about the Rel. Okay, so that's you deleting your own. Chat disconnected. Please wait while we try to reconnect you. All right, YouTube. Now YouTube saying successfully connected. All right. Yeah, thanks for that not helpful information. It Hits Differently says, you need to come over and help me with waveforming. Bro, that ain't me. You got to talk to Shane Lee about that. I don't have a Trinov. I don't know nothing about waveforming. I mean, you could do your own kind of waveforming setup and run like a pair of Buchart sub 10s like on your back wall and use those to cancel out like the bass that passes you to get rid of like echo and standing waves and things like that. You'd have to do it by ear or using like a UMIC and, you know, dialing it in manually, but you could do your own waveforming. I suppose you don't need a Trinnov, but Middle Earth says Rolls 134 distribution amp is a great addition to get signals for subs or anything. Let me look that up. Roll distribute. That doesn't sound like the name of an amp, but let's see. Let's see what we get. Yeah, distribution amplifier DA134 Rolls Corporation. What is this thing? What does this thing cost? That's the better question. $119, not much, not much. Cool, I dig it. Let's see, what is this thing? I'm not seeing how this is gonna convert high to low. What is this thing called? Line distribution amplifier sends stereo audio sources to 4 separate variable outputs. Trying to get a look at the. Okay, so you have level on the front. Yeah, that does look like an option. There's a few ways to, you know, get a subwoofer set up with a amplifier that doesn't have pre-outs or sub-outs. There's a few different ways to do it, you know. Harddeep thinks says, thanks, man. Ben Gleason, are you going to get the Arendelle 1528 bookshelves? I mean, probably at some point. They're super new, and you know, most companies, guys, they're going to send their products to like the big dog reviewers first. It's just how it works, you know. Nemo Propaganda is going to be a little bit lower on that totem pole of getting a review sample of a product that just came out, where there might be limited review units available, and that's okay. I always tell companies, hey, make the decision that is best for your business, right? You own a speaker company, that's your business, that's your source of income, and that's how you feed your family. Don't send me a product first just because you want to show me love or because you feel bad or something. Send it to the big dog reviewer that's going to help generate some sales for you or whatever. I don't care. Just send it to me at some point. That's all I ask. Because to me, I don't have to be first. I don't mind being the 5th, 7th, or 10th guy to review something. That's okay for me. Ilian says, Cabas Murano seems to be a lot more expensive in Europe, like a lot. Euro 3,600 for a pair. Yeah, no, Ilian, in the United States, they're expensive too. They're normally 4,400 a pair in the United States. They're just on sale right now. They're 50% off. They're being cleared out at a distributor called Upscale Audio. And it's just a crazy deal that's happening right now. They are normally more expensive, yeah. In Europe, they're actually slightly cheaper. 3,600 euro, I believe that's about 4,000 USD. So the Europe and USA price is fairly close. They're just on sale right now. So it's a hell of a deal for US customers or anyone that can, you know, buy from Upscale Audio online in any region that they'll ship to. It's a hell of a deal. It really is. Ed says, damn, the Murano has 150 watts rated, 1,000 watts peak. Yeah, you know, look, a lot of good, high-quality speakers can take a lot of peak wattage. They can. You know, they're going to have that headroom. That's one of the things you gain when you move up the totem pole of price generally. Sorry if I keep moving around, guys. Nemo Propaganda has an injury. Some of you guys might not know. I got a... It's really annoying, honestly. I got a fucking hernia, and I got to go get surgery to get it fixed. And the thing hurts, man. It hurts. It does not feel good at all. Not much I do. It's, you know what it is? It's not so much that it's painful. It's just like uncomfortable. It's this nagging feeling, and I can't wait to get it fixed. But I'm probably a few months out from surgery. Whatever, you know what I mean? Whatever. And in my upcoming reviews, you'll see I'm kind of like keeled over a little bit, and my energy's not as high because it's just like it is what it is, you know. Richard's over here in the chat fighting for his life with the autocorrect. I love it. Ilian says Rel provides the cable to connect the sub through the speaker terminals. Yeah, that's the high level. Yeah, high level cable can be used to tap off the back of the amplifier or the back of the speaker terminals. Do keep in mind, if you're going to run it off the back of the speaker terminals, you're going to need dual subs to do that. All right, that's people talking to each other. Middle Earth says SVS has a standalone sub adapter that uses the power out like Rel. Do they? They have a wireless adapter that does high level to wireless to RCA out. I could see that. That's a lot of connections. You're going high to low, and then you're going wireless. There's a lot of DA conversions. That might introduce some group delay. Having that many conversions, I mean, SVS is going to do their best, obviously, to get that down as low as possible. And if that's the only option for someone, by all means, use it, right? But if there's another option that has less conversions and adapters and changes in between, I would prefer that. Nemo propaganda is not low on our totem pole. You are tops to us, amigo. Thank you, Victor. I appreciate that, my man. I appreciate that. I do. Ed Beck says, what is the loudest speaker you ever listened to? I mean, I don't listen that loud, bro. I mean, I've cranked to like 90 dB a few times when I'm just really rocking out. That's very rare, though. I mean, I've been to dealer demos where there's like $1 million sound systems with like giant Wilson Alexandrias that are like $250,000. So I've heard some loud shit, but in my space, I don't crank the volume that loud. I need water, guys. Hold up. Ben says, been there. Don't move subs and lose the gym membership. I think you're talking about the hernia. Yeah, look, I'm still moving subs around. I'm trying to be mindful, and I am still working out. And I know I shouldn't be. I know I shouldn't be, bro. But I'm trying to. Obviously, I'm not doing deadlifts. I'm not doing squats. I'm not standing and doing curls, but I am doing like preacher curls. I'm doing push-ups. I'm trying to do what I can. I can't not work out. I can't. Like, I start to feel worse, honestly. Victor says, I bought my 2 subs from Upscale Audio. I was going to get the DWX at the end of the month. Damn, I might have to consider these 2. Bro, I love the Zoo DWX. I do. It's an incredible speaker. But the Cabas Murano, hi-fi deal of 2024. What more do you want me to say? Like, I hate saying don't buy that, buy this instead. You know what I mean? I feel bad saying that, but dude, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. If Porsche was selling 911s for $50,000 and you were in the market for a $50,000 sports car and you were maybe going to buy a Ford Mustang GT, you'd buy the Porsche 911 instead if it was 50% off. We all would. It's just a no-brainer. Yeah, bro. I love the Zoo DWX. I love it. But the Cabas Murano, like it's better than everything, man. That's cheaper, or it's sale price. Nothing comes close. Ace of Spades, what's up, man? Always happy to see you in the chat. Hardeep Singh, at everyone. He's atting everyone. I use the musician Night One speakers. Those speakers have a beautiful finish, by the way. These are imported from China. Yep, exceptional speaker for the money. I'm based in the UK. Okay, I mean, cool. I mean, yeah, I mean, we know about that speaker. They're kind of like a pain in the butt to buy for most people, I think is what it is. They don't really market them. They don't really send review samples, but it's got a beautiful wood finish. Guys, if you want like a beautiful speaker, check out this musician Night One Hardeep is talking about it. It really is beautiful. Ali Alamari says most dynamic speakers, regardless of the price point. Ali, before I answer that question, answer a question for me. What does dynamic mean to you? Clarify that, and then I will answer, because I've learned some of these descriptors mean slightly different things to different people. Mark Wilson, yo, blessings, Persian King. Keep your head up, stay strong. You will recover. Best reviewer on YouTube, and hands down. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I'm surprised the few of you that remember I am Persian. I am. Most people don't know I'm Middle Eastern. They think I look like a white guy. I am very fair skinned for being Middle Eastern. My mom is absolutely porcelain white, but both my parents are from Iran. They're as Middle Eastern as it gets. My dad's passed on since, but if you saw my dad, he looks like Indian. He like dark Indian. He was like, my dad referred to himself as black growing up. And I remember as a kid, I had to be like, Dad, like, because, English wasn't his primary language. He didn't understand that in America, when you say someone is black, you are referring to someone that is African American. My dad thought that was just dark people. And my dad was damn near as dark as like a darker skinned African American person. But I had to tell him, Dad, you cannot refer to yourself as black. That's weird. You're just like dark skinned Middle Eastern. And he was like, I don't get it. It's the same thing. He's like, I'm a black guy. And I'm like, you're not. So that was fun, trying to teach my Middle Eastern father just the right words to use there, Where did I leave off? Hardeep Singh says, Nemo, always wanted to ask, what made you settle on the kinky monoblocks? This is a good question. Nemo's a little reckless, all right? That's something you guys just got to know about me. I'm reckless when it comes to my purchases sometimes. I liked the way they looked. I didn't even know what they really sounded like. I watched the reviews. I read a bunch of reviews on them. Sirajan over at Six Moons, Hi-Fi Nights, and a bunch of other people that reviewed them. And they were the right size for what I needed. I didn't want anything too big. The internal parts selection were very beautiful. The circuitry, the way it was laid out, was very beautiful. So I just bought them. I just bought them, dude. So, like I never heard them. Like I rolled the dice. But I've done that with almost all my purchases. When I bought the Bucard S400s, that was a pre-order. I was one of the first people in the USA to have the Bucard S400s. I was part of the original pre-sale. It was like 9 months before I even got them. No one had heard them. There was no review. Aries 2 DAC, I never heard it. I just bought it. Blue Sound Node, I'd never heard it. I just bought it. Rhythmic subwoofers, I had never heard them. I just bought it. You know what I mean? That's just like how I roll. I'm very comfortable rolling the dice. But I've gotten lucky because most of my purchases have worked out, and I really love the Kinky Studio sound. It's very high quality, extremely high quality for the amount of money that they're charging. Seriously, like the first amp I ever had that was like really like on par in terms of like overall just sonic fidelity was that Pathos Class A, the Impul Remix Mark II, and I think that was like $7,000. I could be wrong. My memory's a little hazy on the pricing. Richard McCoy says, I wish the Totem Fires were winning in your poll. They are in last place. Looks like the class wants to see the signature ones. Yeah, bro, but you even said like you're not, was it you or someone else? One of you guys was like, I'm not even in the market. I'm just curious. Like you just want to see them for entertainment, you know what I mean? But they're not going to be in a lot of people's price category, my bro. I get it. I mean, they're $8,000, and times are tough right now, guys. Everything costs 20 to 30% more money. People's finances are they're light. We're all hurting a little bit right now. Where'd I leave off? Yeah, so Middle Earth is saying, I think someone else covered this too. SVS has an RCA version outwired. $80. Oh, I think Middle Earth is saying SVS has a wired high to low converter. Let's have a look. If they do, that's dope. And I'll happily try to get my hands on one and review it. Probably in the accessories section. So there's cables, footers, wireless audio adapter. Not seeing it, brother. I found it. SBS SoundPath speaker level subwoofer adapter. Pristine signal transfer and multi-layer shielding from interference for speakers with 2 sets of binding posts. Yeah, this is a high to low converter that SVS sells. And it is a little more expensive than the one I've been recommending, obviously. But with this one, like the one I've been recommending was for car audio. So at least with this one, you're getting something that was designed to be used in this manner in your home. I wonder if they give us specs on the amount of input wattage it can handle. Okay, so this is a lot better than the Scosche LOC I've been recommending. The Scosche LOC I've been recommending, I think, can handle something like 40 watts input signal. The SVS can handle 500, so this is going to be a lot safer to use. And since SVS designed it, I'd imagine it's just going to have cleaner and better signal transfer. So yeah, going forward, this will probably be the high to low converter that I start recommending to people. I'll try to get my hands on one so I could have some firsthand experience with it too. But yeah, great. Thanks for dropping that in the chat. I didn't know about that. Goro says Hardeep Singh. Oh yeah, Tharma Bars has shown them with his Denon 2, as Nemo said. They are beautiful. Oh yeah, he's talking about those Night Musician ones. Tharma Bar did have them. I think he's like the only guy that's reviewed them. Tharma Bar, such a weird YouTube channel name. I wonder where that comes from. Whoa. Andy says, how do the Silverline minuets compare to CSS? Andy, you must be a very long-time subscriber of mine to know that I own the Silverline Minuet Supreme Plus. I have not talked about that speaker in years. I haven't referenced it in a comparison, nothing. Unless you've been following me for like 4 years, no one knows I own those speakers. Wow, I'm really surprised you brought that up. Look, GR Research, I couldn't, because he asked about CSS or GR Research. Guys, I hate to keep sounding like a broken record, but Danny does not send review samples. GR Research does not send review samples. He is very against YouTube reviews, despite, having a review channel himself. Danny will not send review samples of his products to any YouTube reviewer. He has publicly stated this. He has made his stance very clear. Danny does not believe YouTube reviewers are qualified to review his speaker. Hold on. He says our rooms are not set up properly to get the best out of his speaker. So what it sounds like to me is Danny's speaker, the GR Research stuff, might be really picky with the rooms they're in. So like I wouldn't recommend them, because if the manufacturer themselves is saying that reviewers with treated rooms are not going to really be able to get the best out of them, then I don't think most people would be. As far as CSS is fantastic. They're really easy to place in the room, sound fantastic. You do need some good power to drive them because they do have a lot of bass. But how they compare to like the Silverline Minuet, like brother, the Silverline Minuet is tiny by direct comparison. It is not even a comparison. The Silverline Minuet has no bass compared to something like the CSS Crichton. The CSS is a much warmer sound overall. The Silverline Minuet Supreme Plus is a nice sound, but the speaker is just so much smaller. The Minuet is more forward, it's more brighter, it's energetic, has a lot of sparkle and air up top. The Silverline Minuet Supreme Plus is going to be more, honestly, like a niche speaker, like the Monocoustic Supermon Mini, where the CSS is just going to be like a big, powerful sound that's warm and rich. I'd go for the CSS. Unless you want a tiny speaker, then, I mean, I loved Silverline. I'll be honest, I didn't even know they were still in business. Hardeep says that beard is 100% Middle Eastern. Yeah. This is my terrorist beard, and I call it that because, so I've always had a beard, but not this big, okay? It was historically quite a bit more trim and tame. And one year for Halloween, I dressed up as a terrorist, man. It's what I wanted to do. I thought it was funny. My friends thought it was funny. Got a good laugh. And I had to grow the beard out more. So it took some planning, and then I got so many compliments on it. This just became the new length of my beard. Hardy, yeah, okay, I already read that. Wyatt says, thoughts on a DAC to power amp setup? Is it possible to feed your monoblocks this way? Recently bought a TSA 75, and I'm very happy, but not sure. No preamp is a setup anyone would recommend. So some DACs have built-in preamps. If your DAC has some kind of volume control, it has a preamp built in, and you could technically go from DAC straight to power amp. There are people that do that, and depending on what preamp you're comparing it to, it'll either sound better going DAC straight to preamp, or it'll sound better having a great preamp in the chain. It just depends which DAC and which preamp we're talking about. But yeah, you can definitely do that if your DAC has some kind of preamp functionality. Hardeep sense, that's fair, man. All my purchases have been blind too. Yeah, you got to roll the dice sometimes, right? There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, Ali Alamari says this is the guy that asked about like the most dynamic speaker I've ever heard. And I asked him to clarify what that means to him so I could answer. He said, dynamic to me means layering with bass and engaging. Shit, that's not what dynamic means to me at all. Fuck. Layering with bass and engaging? I don't know, bro. I don't think we're on the same page with these descriptors. I'm having a hard time picking up what you're putting down, Ali. I want to help. I want to answer this question, but I'm going to have to ask you one more time to rephrase it for me and try to be a little bit more clear, because I'm not quite sure I understand what you're asking. But I'll do my best to answer. Sorry, brother. I hate to keep telling you to retype your question, man. Joan Frederick, what's up? Joan says, you are the best reviewer in the world to me. I hope you get the medical problem fixed soon, as I want you to be healthy. Thank you, Joan. I appreciate that. I, too, want me to be healthy. Oh, my God. This is really, it's a frustrating thing because this hernia, it's like lower abdomen. So I've lost a lot of my like core strength. I still have my core strength, obviously, but if I try to exert strength, it just flares up. It hurts right away. So it's like this shock collar that keeps me kind of from using my strength. So it is what it is. You know, it's a part of life. These kind of things happen, I suppose. Alien 2 says he likes to buy stuff blind. He loves to experiment. Yeah, that's how I am. It seems like I'm not alone. Most people seem to be the opposite. Most guys, they want as much assurances as possible before they make their purchase. They want to know it's perfect. They're worried about making a mistake. To me, that sounds like it's not fun. I think buying should be fun and exciting. So roll the dice. Try some shit. See what happens. Maybe you'll make a mistake. It's okay. You won't die. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to lose a couple $100 to learn something about your personal taste. That's what I believe, and that's part of every hobby. Ace says, many of us buy used. Have you ever thought of doing content when you buy a chain used and review and then sell it? Bro, I don't understand your question. Chain? What do you mean? Buy a chain used. and review it. Chain. Well, that's got to be a typo. That's got to be a typo. I think you're just asking me about buying stuff used and reviewing it. I don't like to buy. I don't like to review products that are not available for sale new. I don't want to review discontinued products. It's just not something I want to do. I'm sorry, bro. Mark says, what's the wireless transmitter you use for behind seat subwoofer? I forget, may need to play with it just for fun. I use the Rel HT Air. That's what I use. And it, it's inexpensive. It works. That's what I use. Yeah. John Ricci, how do you feel about Spendors? I'm so happy someone asked. I have got some classic 4.5s that are really insightful, great stage, just weird about stands, got really boxy without care in stands, was thinking ATC 11s. I love the Spendor 3.1s. I have the classic 3.1s in for review, and I freaking love them. They're like a Bucard S400 on freaking steroids. For years, people have been asking me like, hey, if I like the S400, but I want an upgrade, what do I buy? I haven't really had an answer for them. It's the Spendor Classic 3.1. It is such a good speaker. I freaking love it. It is my type of sound. It's darker in the treble. It's warm in the mids, very tonally rich. Sure, you're going to give up some of your ultimate resolution. You're going to give up some of your like expansiveness and ability to see into the recording, but you're going to get a sound that is so harmonious and rich. I love the Spendor sound. ATC SCM11 by direct comparison is going to be a lot more neutral from top to bottom. If you feel like your Spendors are maybe too dark or you're losing resolution too much because of your equipment pairing, maybe because the Spendors can sound expansive, the classics. They just need certain gear to do that. But the ATCS SCM11 is going to be a different sound, and you're going to lose a lot of bass. The Spendor Classic 3.1 I have has very, very powerful bass. HJC, what's up? Longtime subscriber. He says, random question and not hi-fi related. Ooh, I'm curious. What is he going to ask? He'd be like, how tall are you? No, I'm just kidding. What's your view on the PS5 Pro, and would you recommend buying if you don't already own a PS5, considering the massive price difference? So this is tough, bro, because, it's not cheap. I think stuff like that depends on how much disposable income you have, my bro. If you have the disposable income, buy whatever you want. Even if the value is poor, who cares? Who cares? If you can afford it, it doesn't matter. But if you're tight on cash, then I guess it depends how much do you value that better frame rate, Because that's really what it's bringing to the table. It's essentially able to give you the graphics mode and the performance mode roughly at the same time, which is something PC gamers have been enjoying for years. To me, it's not worth it, but I'm a PC gamer these days. You know what I mean? I spent my $1,800 on a PC rig something like 4 years ago, and I could play just about any game I care to play in 1440, 120 for the most part. And I love that. But $1,800 for a gaming rig is a lot more, but I have a micro gaming rig. You could buy like a gaming PC that can compete with a PS5 Pro, I think probably for like $800-900, which I guess is PS5 Pro price. It's a tough one, bro. I think it really comes down to how much disposable income you have. Serge says, seems like I always catch your live streams randomly. Love it. Think I'd make a big leap forward from SVS SB4000 to their new SB17, or does a large sub that size going down the wrong path for 2-channel? So if you're 2-channel only, there is such a thing as too much subwoofer for the room. If you're a theater guy, or you have a lot of like advanced room correction features and settings in your rig, there is such a thing as too much subwoofer for the room. So that depends. But if your room is a good size, I'm just guessing. No one's really heard the SB17 yet. I don't know, Everyone's idle. Goro, John Ricci. He's talking to John Ricci. Someone in the Discord has some classics. I forget which. And the SCM11 might be worth asking too. Someone else, really, Goro, besides me, someone has the ATC SCM11 and the classics? That's interesting. I didn't know that. Ed, will you try a beard braid like a Viking? No, I will not braid my beard, brother. That is not my style. I cannot do that. Terry says, I buy blind to a degree. I watch reviews. I hope you feel better. Thank you, bro. Thank you. How long have we been streaming for? 65 minutes. Just about an hour. Not too bad. Not too bad. Mark says, recently got a Hypex amp from Buckeye. I find it natural, powerful, and have grip on speakers control, not warm or muscular, like a good Class AB. Hope you get an opinion on them eventually. I probably won't, because I think they're all power amps. And I don't review power amps. You know, if there's an integrated version, I'm happy to look into it though. But a lot of these like smaller amp companies, I don't think they do reviews. I don't think they do. I haven't really seen any. Maybe I'm just not seeing them. Ty says, I have the shell for a 2 passive and a failed active 12-inch sub. Okay, you're talking about the basket. So you've got the basket and motor section for a 2 passive and a failed active 12-inch sub. Any favorite driver recommendations for this DI? Okay, you got a blown sub basically that you can like pimp out, right? And you want driver recommendations. It's 1 cubic foot, 1400 watt RMS amp on it. It's a Dayton 12X Max for 150, but I want, it looks like it cut off, but I want to go harder. Mix of home theater and music, so I want to tune it for plus or minus 20 hertz. I mean, there's a lot of options. So since it's got passives, I don't know what kind of clearance you're looking at, because some drivers have really large motor sections. I would honestly, I would call Parts Express and I would see if they have an opinion on that. They sell a lot of drivers. They're into DIY. Their customer service is pretty tech savvy. But let me just hop on there myself and see if anything stands out to me. Oh, by the way, that Opel, the Parts Express Opel review is not happening. That's not happening. Let's go to their drivers. We're going to go to speaker components, hi-fi subwoofers, subwoofer drivers. Let's organize by price, high to low. See what their big dog stuff is. Let's filter it to 12-inch. Where is that? Let's filter to 4 ohm, because you don't want anything like. Okay, so you know what's funny? It looks like there's the CSS 12. That's interesting. 400, 2500, little expensive. If you're trying to save money, I think I'd probably mess around with an Eminence. But I don't know if any of these 12s can take the power. You might have to jump into the car audio driver world to find a 12 that can take 1500 watts RMS. And if you want a good inexpensive driver that can take 1500 watts RMS on a budget, look at SoundCubed. It's SOUNDQUBED, SoundCubed. They're kind of like the sister company to Digital Design. And they're like a cheaper version of Digital Design, and they have 12s that can take 1500 watts RMS all day long. But like even this Eminence, like there's no way. Or I mean, let's see what the CSS can do. If it could take 500, I mean that'd be respectable. But Most of these home audio 12s can't take 1,000 watts RMS. I mean, that's a lot of power. It could take 1,000 RMS. Yeah, wow. The CSS can take 1,000, so that might be the move. Let's look at this Eminence real quick, because it's the CSS one's 425. The Eminence is 259, 500 watts. So yeah, if you want like a good home audio driver, CSS is a good option just based on your power handling needs. And if that's too expensive, you're going to have to get something from the car audio world. Hard Deep says, so are people still listening to P. Diddy? Bro, I never listened to P. Diddy, not my kind of music. Most of his music's old too. The guy he hasn't made music himself in years. Most of his songs are super old. You know what I mean? And yeah, music doesn't expire, but I've never really been into his music. I'm not really into that kind of rap music. I do like some hip hop, but not like mainstream hip hop, if you will. I like stuff like Styles of Beyond, Army of the Pharaohs. The name escapes me of some of the other groups, but more of that kind of underground sound where there's like actual lyrics and it's really like an art form. I like that kind of hip hop and not the mainstream shit. Edward, hello. Are you planning on reviewing any Perlison products? I get this question every now and then, guys. I do have a line of communication to the distributor, the master distributor for Perlison. It's Fidelity Imports. The team over there is super cool. They are super willing to send me review samples. It's just most of their stuff is fairly heavy, and that's been an issue for me. Most of their subwoofers ship on a pallet. I cannot accommodate a pallet, and most of you guys want to see me review their subwoofer. So with the injury I have right now, the hernia, I can't be reviewing heavy stuff anyways. So I want to at some point, and I probably will, just not in the near future. Ed says he just saw the Iota VX SA40 for €899 open box, so €100 off. I'm still looking for an amp 2.1 or something comparable like the Emotiva MR1. What's the Emotiva MR1? But the Iota VX SA40, that's a great amp, man. That is a great amp. Oh, the MR1 is Emotiva's receiver. What does this thing cost? God, so many pop-ups with these like manufacturer direct websites. It's so annoying. Emotiva does it, SVS does it. You go on their website and it's like, join our email list, get this discount. It's like, bro, leave me alone. I'm just looking for information. How much does it cost? What's going on here? There's no price. Oh, it's $1,999. All right, bro. I mean, the Emotiva MR1's kind of expensive, you know, so that Iota VX SA40 is a lot cheaper. Maybe I think the MR1 though has a like multi-channel processing, so it's a very different product. It's more of a multi-channel AVR, whereas the Iota VX SA40 is a stereo, integrated amp for the most part. So very different products, you know. Ty, thank you for the super chat, $10 super chat. I appreciate it. I'm going to go buy some coffee with that. Been using the Starbucks blonde roast with the French press, cold brew, and coming out beautiful. Because like everyone, I'm trying to save money. I can't be buying coffee on the go. I got to be making my own at home. Every penny counts right now. I don't care how much money you make. Trust me, guys. You want to be just, I'm not saying be miserly, but this is a time in life you want to just protect your neck financially a little bit. I'm not saying don't buy nothing, don't treat yourself. I mean, I just bought this microphone. You know what I'm saying? This was like $280 after tax and shipping. You know, I bought this arm. This was like $40. It's okay to spend, but on the bullshit, like fast food, coffee, energy drinks, try to be mindful. Those daily $20 pulls, those will ruin you. All right, where'd I leave off? Ty says the CSX SDX12 XBL12 can reach 16 hertz and well reviewed for 400. Yeah, look, it's a beast of a driver. I mean, yeah, it is. And what I would do personally, I would buy it directly from CSS's website and show them some love. And I mean, like, it's none of my business. Do what you want, but if you buy it direct from CSS, all the profits going into their pocket, and you're cutting out the middleman. I don't know if there's a price difference. I don't think there is, but might as well buy directly from the source. And that way you might also have some of their support if you have any questions. They're a small enough company where I would say just buy direct if you can. Another super chat, John Ritchie, $4.99 super chat. I appreciate that. Thank you. I really do, guys. You guys want to know what I do with most of the super chat money, honestly? I don't get a lot of super chat money, maybe sometimes like $15, $25 a month. Because people sometimes drop them on my videos too, is when I watch other content creators that are in other countries where the US dollar is like strong and their local currency is like dog shit, I super chat those dudes because it makes it like $10 for them US is like 25 in their currency, and it makes a big difference. Like I dropped a $100 super chat for this one dude because I think he was in Tanzania, and I knew the conversion was like big, and he was like, whoa, it like really blew his mind. And this is a dude that makes great content. So I try to support those guys that have like, because this is what I feel like when you live in a country where the exchange rate is poor or it's not. Look, I'm not saying like third world countries are like all trash and this and that. They have a lot of benefits, actually, different value system that could be very beneficial to a lot of people. But in some ways, at least financially speaking, it's like you're playing life on medium difficulty. Whereas if you live in a country like the US, you're kind of living life on easy difficulty. So like when I super chat those dudes, I feel like it's just, it makes me happy to do that. It goes further for them, I guess is what I'm saying. Well, sometimes it might be someone in Mexico or whatever. All right, what else we got here? What? Middle Earth says, for SE2 people like me, Emotiva has a 300B in the works, which is a collaboration and sound. What? Emotiva's making a tube amp? That is news to me, my bro. I did not know that. Who is it a collaboration with? Who are they collabing with? I got to know. Let us know. Drop it in the chat, bro. SC to God. What is SC to God? What does that mean? What is your screen name? I got an SC to God. What is that? What does that mean? I want to know. He says, I seen a post but can't find it anymore. Are you going to review the SVS Ultra 17? Not right now, bro. You might have hopped in the live stream a little late. Your boy Nemo Propaganda got an injury. I got a hernia. I can't review 125 pounds. Going to be able to be lifting heavy things for the next few months, unfortunately. I want to check it out. I want to, I mean, it's a beast, and I might, but maybe in like 6 months, so we'll see. What else we got here? I'm running the RSL. This is Rolex DSSD is saying I'm running the RSL 2.1 amp with the 2 CG3Ms and 2 12Ss. Dude, you're an animal. You're an animal. You got more truck than trailer by a lot. You're running dual 12Ss with little bookshelf speakers and a little baby desktop amp. You're an animal, but you have your priorities right. You have a good amp. You have good speakers and insane subwoofers. And the interesting thing is, because I've experienced all that, I actually own the CG3Ms and the amp. I don't have the sub anymore. That's going to be, despite the size disparity between those three products, tonally, you can actually get some really good tonal balance out of that setup. That's probably, I'm guessing you love it. I love what you did there. Good for you, honestly. I'm so happy for you, Rolex. That's a killer setup. All three of those products, by the way, have one Product of the Year awards from me. That's how good they are. Rolex says fast food will kill you, and add up real quick. Yeah, everything in moderation. I don't think anyone should be eating McDonald's every day or Burger King or whatever it may be. Home cooked meals are going to be the best, ideally with ingredients that have the least amount of processing. That's what I try to do. But hey, a little pizza every now and then, a little McDonald's every now and then. You got to live a little. It's okay. I'm not going to judge anyone. Ooh, a lot of comments just dropped in. Ed says, maybe buy a smallish rollable cart, like one that fits most of your heavier speaker subs so you can still move them. Bro, no. You're forgetting, Ed. I still got to take these motherfucking things out of the box and unbox them. Then I got to get them back in the box and send them back to the manufacturers. I got to pick these things up and put them in my car and take them out of my car. There's no way, my bro. Moving them around the room is the easy part. My room's got carpet. I just leave the footers off and I can slide them around. It's everything else. Honestly, the unpacking and repacking is the hardest part with a big subwoofer. It is not fun, man. It's also why I don't review towers. Unpacking and repacking them is a nightmare, man. NC says coffee. I make my own. Yeah, awesome. I mean, do you roast your own beans too? I mean, what do you mean make your own? Because I make my own too. I grind my own beans with a burr mill grinder, and I do French press cold brew, and I love it. But what do you mean by make your own? Because I know some people, they roast their own beans. Whoa, this is crazy. Another person, reticulated Ralphie, says, I bought the Fritz Carbon 7 because of your video. Thank you. Awesome, bro. I'm happy. I didn't know so many people enjoyed that Fritz and actually made that purchase because of me. Yeah, that's a fantastic speaker. I really love that Fritz. Another super chat from Serge, 199. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. I really do. It means a lot to me. This is the most super chats I've ever gotten in a live stream. You guys don't have to do this, but I thank you for it, man. So Alar says, can a Denon X1800 AVR run Emotiva T1 Plus towers? Probably. Let me look it up though. X1800. That looks like a DJ mixer. Oh, I found it. So it's kind of like an inexpensive AVR. Like $700. It looks $749 is the full MSRP on it. It should still have at least 100 watts of channel though. Let's see. Yeah, look, I haven't tried that combination, but I'll tell you this. It'll work. It'll work, and it should play fairly loud. You're never going to get the very best out of a speaker using a sub $1,000 AVR, but it's going to work. You're going to get decent sound. You know what I mean? Most people are... So most modern AVRs, even the inexpensive ones, have really good processors inside for the money. So you can always later, upgrade to like a decent power amp for your mains if you want to. But if this is the combination you have, or that you want to get those Emotivas, by all means do it. They're not super hard to drive or anything like that, and your AVR will run them. Sorry if I keep sniffing, guys. I don't have the most clear sinus passages. I don't. I've always had like just minor breathing problems, not like allergies or anything. Nothing major, but let's see here. James says, I bet the Dolly Rubicore 2 would pair well with the Kinky Studio. Most stuff pairs well with Kinky Studio, honestly. It's a mostly neutral, slightly analytical, but highly refined sound that doesn't add a lot of color. That's why I love using it to review stuff. Yeah, the Dolly Rubicore stuff is, I think I said that was a recent announcement, wasn't it? Let me look it up. That's a brand I want to get some more experience with. I reviewed their Oberon 1 and I didn't really love it. It was a little too spicy for me, but I want to check out some of their other stuff. Yeah, this is a good looking speaker. Middle Earth says Dayton has a 12-inch driver for $238. That'll do $1,400. Let's look it up. I don't think that's going to work. That looks like a dual 4-ohm voice coil. He's not going to be able to use that for a home audio build because that's going to be Dual 4 ohm coils, basically he can either run that thing at 2 ohms or 8 ohms. It's just not going to work unless they have a dual 8 ohm voice coil version. Let's see. Also, I'm not saying it's overrated. I'm not saying this driver, I know this driver. I've had this driver. It can take power. It can take power. Don't get me wrong. Not what you think though. That 1400 watts, that's peak power, brother. This is like a 500-600 watt RMS all day long driver. This is not a 1000 watt plus driver. This driver cannot handle 1400 RMS. That's 1400 max peak, just momentary burst. And I think that's a slight exaggeration. I've owned this driver. I used it in a DIY car audio build. It's a good driver. It's really good for the money. It's not on the same level as that CSS. That CSS can do 1000 watts RMS, full tilt. This, I think it's 700 is a slight exaggeration. I'm going to call this a 600 watt RMS driver. Like 600 all day long, no problems. But again, either way, with the dual 4 ohm voice coils, it's not going to work. Daniel, any opinion on the OSD power amplifier? I'm debating between OSD Nero and Arcam. Fairly large price disparity, but power output is very similar. Yeah, bro. People ask me about OSD every now and then, and I say the same thing. It looks like swap meet stuff to me. I'm not interested in reviewing it. I wouldn't personally buy it. If there's another option for you, go for that other option instead. Tell me what your budget is and what you need out of a power amplifier, and I'm sure I could Google find you a better option real quick. OSD just looks like bargain junk to me. I hate to be so judgmental. It's just, it reminds me of like the white van hi-fi like discount, like just junk product. That's what it seems like to me. If I'm wrong, someone tell me. If this is good shit, let me know. But it looks like just all their stuff looks like junk to me. SC to God, StarCraft to God. It's popular. I know StarCraft, bro. Come on now. Come on, I'm a science fiction guy. Cool. Good screen name. Thank you for telling me. Young Old Dude. What a good screen name. Young Old Dude. That's hilarious. Earlier mentioned you had a gaming PC. Which games are you into currently? Hold on. Your boy needs some water. Life hack. Hear me out. This might sound crazy. I put a can of sparkling water in here. Fill the rest with regular water and ice. Amazing. Amazing. So refreshing. So honestly, brother, I haven't been able to get into a good video game in a while now. I'm trying to think the last game that really took my heart. I think it might have been Star Ocean 2, the remake. I'm into mostly like niche JRPG games. Let me log into my Steam and see what I've been playing. But it's been like 4 months now. I'll sit down, I'll turn on my PC, I'll grab the controller, and I can't get into a fucking game. I just can't. I did play Trails Through Daybreak up to about 35 hours, and then I completely fell off, which is crazy because I've played most of the Trails game. I'm deep into that storyline, but Trails Through Daybreak, it didn't really get me. But let's see. What does my Steam library say? Maybe I'm forgetting a more recent game I've played. How do I even check this on the website? So I'm looking at my own profile. Games. So yeah, Star Ocean, the Second Story R. I loved that game so much. That was like a really good game. Trails into Reverie, I really loved, but you have to play all the other games that come before it to understand it. I loved Star Ocean, The Divine Force. I haven't played any of these recently. I love Mass Effect 3. Yeah, man. I've not been able to get into like a game recently. Like my recently played is 0. Nothing's showing up in my recently played games. Hopefully that'll change because I do love video games, but it's been like 4 months. I can't do it. Oh, more super chats coming through. Holy crap. Rolex dropped to $4.99. I got you for tomorrow's coffee. Thank you. And Andy Heckle dropped to $1.99. Thanks for the live chat. Guys. I really appreciate this. Thank you. Thank you. Ty says, for reference, I scooped a Paradigm Seismic 12A for $100. My guy had shelved for 10 years, box passive and amp good to go, but active drivers, foam, gristle to hell. Yeah. Ty says, all love for the chat today. Yeah, man. Thank you, everyone. Serge says, with sound treatments in your room, did you measure with the software or did you do the mirror trick for placement? I did the mirror trick. It was that was easier for me. And what a difference. Holy crap. Getting absorption in the first reflection points was one of the biggest upgrades I've ever done in terms of like imaging, detail retrieval, because it's like having a darker background. You get more detail, speakers sound more effortless. That was a great upgrade. Middle Earth says, owner knows a guy US based that is a heavy hitter in tubes and responded to my question with enthusiasm about the project in Cam's Emotiva Fest live yesterday and discussed it at great lengths. Oh, okay. It was in Cheap Audio Man's, one of his live streams. Someone talked about it. I got you. Why does it sound like I need to be reviewing headphones? Bro, I hate headphones. Why would I do? Oh, because of the hernia? Because headphones are light? I hate headphones. I can't do it. They always sound like they're right here. That out of head experience people are talking about. Like I've listened to $1,000 headphones. I don't like them. From the 5 and under $1,000 subs, how would you rank them for music, not EDM? Why not EDM? I listen to other music too, bro. I mean, rank them how? What do you mean? I need more metrics. There has to be like some kind of metrics for this ranking, right? So give me the metric on how you want me to rank them, and I'll rank them. Andy says, reviewers commonly refer to amps that are neutral and don't add color. What amps do you like that aren't natural and do add color? Thomas's Galleon TS120 Special Edition. Very colorful amp. Like that a lot. Choco Ime. Very colorful amp. Really love that a lot. Still regret sending back the review sample. Still wish I bought it on both of those. Love the Pathos amps. They're not super colorful though, more just highly refined and just beautiful sound, but they're not very colorful or flavorful. Yeah, man, I'd say the Galleon TS120 Special Edition or the Choco Ime. Love those. Rachel Strigic says you should try out Atol Electronic. That's like an English company, ain't it? Oh, you're going to tell me. Electronics from France. Really good for products and handmade. I'll see if I could get like a review sample. Sometimes it's hard to get review samples from international companies that are smaller, but I'll try. Hardeep Singh is saying, Nima, check out Wukong or Warhammer Space Marines 2. I'm not into Souls-like games, so Wukong is not for me, bro. I'm not into that. Warhammer, I believe, is a MMO type game. I don't play online games. I only play solo player games. If I'm wrong, if Warhammer Space Marines 2 has a campaign mode or a single player mode, let me know. But I do not play online. I do not like multiplayer. When I'm playing video games, if I hear another human being's voice, I'm like, oh, go away. This is a personal activity. This is for me to be in my own world without anyone else involved. Like, and it bums out my friends too, because a lot of my friends that are gamers are like, bro, like hop in our Discord chat. Like when you're gaming, like we're all hanging out. And I'm like, bro, no, gaming for me is a fucking solo activity, bro. I don't want to talk to anyone. or engage with another human being as I'm doing it at all. That's why I mostly play niche JRPG games. 902 Nick says, Nemo, you listen to the new SVS 17? No, bro, I don't think anyone has. I don't think anyone's got a review sample on that yet. I could be wrong. I don't know. I don't. With the hernia I have now, you might have hopped in late. I'm injured. Your boy can't be reviewing a 125-pound subwoofer right now. So, no, I haven't heard that. Ed Beck says, Nemo, have you tried Grandia? I haven't. It's been on my wish list for a long time, but the reason I never clicked add to cart is anytime I see someone talk about Grandia, they're loving like the game from nostalgia. But most people, when they talk about playing it today for the first time, it's the remakes. They're not really remakes. I think they're like PSP ports. They still lack the modern features. And they could be a little just not like very friendly to play in today's day and age. So I haven't checked it out. I like games with some modern features, auto saving. I don't want to have to grind for 2 hours just to be the right level. I don't want to have to use a guide. I can't play a game without a world map, for example, and just feel lost for hours. That's not fun to me at all. Justin says, I tried to buy Atoll a few years ago through one of the US dealers listed on their website. The dealer said they don't sell them and had no idea how they ended up on Atoll's website. That is funny. I could tell you how they probably ended up on their website. Atoll probably put them on there, hoping it would drum up some demand and get a deal going. That's probably how it ended up on there. That's my guess. Warhammer is like Gears of War, single player shooter. Really single player, like no online play, because if it's really like a single player campaign game like Gears, I might check it out. I don't play games like that often, but I loved the Mass Effect trilogy. And there was this old shooter game for, what was it called? Vanquish. Vanquish was like really cool. So I'll play a shooter every now and then. Ed says Steam has an RPG sale. Yeah, I mean, they're always running some kind of sale. I mean, that's the benefit of PC gaming. Corey Morris says REL 1205 Mark II or Rhythmic F12 400 for music in a 15 by 16 foot room with vaulted ceilings. So this is a simple one. In my opinion, this is what you got to remember with Rhythmic. Rhythmic is almost always, actually not almost, always when you compare Rhythmic to REL, you're going to get more output and extension for your money. Straight up. You are. So that's one thing to keep in mind. There's some big differences in aesthetics, but I don't think you're asking me about that. The sound's a little different. So look, I haven't heard the F12 400. I've only heard the F12 SE. Most people have described the F12 400 to be nearly identical. I'm not 100% sure it is. I'd say you can go either way. The F12 400 is going to be a little bit more distinct with its leading edges. If it sounds exactly like the F12 SE. It's going to be a little bit quicker with its start-stop behavior, note-to-note distinction. I mean, it is a servo-controlled sub. Like, you got to remember the Rhythmic F subs are their like higher tier subs, but the REL HT subs are REL's like, I don't want to say lower tier, but in terms of like pure fidelity, it is the entry level for REL product. You can go either way, bro, honestly. I don't know. I'd say this. If you really value extension, go for the Rhythmic. All Rhythmic subs are flat down to 20 hertz. If you like the look of the REL more, though, or something like that, by all means, go for it. This is tough because I haven't heard the 400, and I'm just not 100% sure. If we're talking F12 SE or 1205 Mark II, look, the F12 SE is on a higher level for sure overall. That's the easy one for me. But with the F12 400, I'm having a guess, and I don't like doing that. I'm sorry. I can't fully answer that question aside from if it was 1205 or F12 SE, F12 SE all day long. 902 Nick said he didn't hear that. Yeah, it's all good, bro. It's all good. Todd K says Halo. Halo's too old for me, bro. It's a cool game. I messed around with it back in the day, but not for me. So Hardeep says the single player campaign is 12 hours, enough to finish with committing too much time. Yeah, if it's a 12-hour campaign, I'll see if I can catch it on sale or something. You know what I mean? Ted K just dropped in. He wants to know if we're going to review the Arendelle bookshelves. That's okay. Someone asked at the beginning of the stream, but it's probably totally different people by now because we're at about 100 minutes now. Probably at some point, bro. I don't have a review sample right now. But you know, I told Arendelle, hey, by all means, send them to like the bigger channels first and send them to me whenever you get a chance. Those bookshelves are 66 pounds a piece. And having a hernia right now that needs surgery, I'm in no rush to take on a review sample of bookshelf speakers that weigh 66 pounds a piece. And if anyone wants to correct me and say they're heavier than that, they're not. They're 66 pounds. I emailed them. I asked them. They did confirm. The website originally had a slight typo that said they were like in the 70-pound range. What the heck just happened? Did we lose connection? Oh, hold on, guys. The chat crashed on my end. Let me bring this back up. That was kind of annoying. Got to pop it back out. Pop chat, full screen. All right, we're back in business. Ted K says 66 pounds. Dang. Yeah, bro. It's a heavy speaker, man. The thing is robust. Arendelle also uses HDF in their cabinets, which is it's a denser wood. You know, it's gonna have more just heft to it overall. Their products have historically always been very robust for the money. Even something like that $800 1961 bookshelf or the $899 1961 1S subwoofer. Their stuff's always built like an absolute freaking tank. All right, guys. Someone just drop a comment. Let me know this thing is still working because the chat did crash. I'm not sure if I've lost. Oh, there we go. No, everything's still working. So Corey says Rhythmic it is. Thanks, Nemo. Yeah, no problem. Look, if you're in the US, Rhythmic is just like, it's a hell of a bargain, man. It really is. You know, Rel and Rhythmic are really different brands for the most part. They don't have a lot of overlap. Like Rel makes a lot of small subwoofers that Rhythmic doesn't make. And Rhythmic makes a lot of really big subwoofers that Rel doesn't really make. The little bit of overlap they have in models is maybe like the L12, the 1205, and the F12. Those three subwoofers have some overlap. The E15 HP2 and the Predator 1510 have some overlap. Besides those models, the two brands are very different in terms of what they offer into the market. We might be approaching the tail end of the stream, ladies and gentlemen. We've been cooking for 104 minutes. We got 40 people in here, 29 thumbs ups. Oh, more comments. Look, if the questions keep coming, I'll keep talking, man. There's this other YouTuber I follow. His channel's Nightwood Guns. Guys, I watched this dude live stream for 5.5 hours. I couldn't believe he live streamed for that long. He just kept going. And it was great content if you're into like firearms and stuff. I've never seen someone live stream for that long. That's a serious live stream. Middle Earth, I would sit tight as there will be Rhythmic deals here soon, deal season. I don't think so, Middle Earth. I'm not sure why you're saying that. I've never seen a Rhythmic sale. They don't have sales. They don't do deals. They don't do discounts. There's no Black Friday Rhythmic deal. They don't play that. Their price is their price year round. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, I've never seen that, man. Yeah. Ted says bad time to have a hernia between Arendelle and new SVS Ultra 17s. Yeah, dude, 2 product launches in a row, and they're like just these big heavy products. Like what the hell, man? What the hell? I couldn't believe that. Like I emailed my rep at SVS and I'm like, hey man, what's the weight of the SB17? And he's like 125 pounds. And I was like, crap. I emailed Arendelle, what's the weight of the smallest bookshelf, the 1528? They're like 66 pounds each. That's like 130 pounds between the the two bookshelf speakers. That's insane. Oh my God. Rachel says, great stream. Thank you. Thank you. Rachel, are you my third female subscriber, or is this a guy using wife's account? That's common too. Because my YouTube analytics say I have 2.5 female subscribers. And I always wondered where the half comes in. I figured that there had to be like 1 or 2 more that pop in, but it's not uncommon too if it's a female's name as the screen name. Oftentimes it's the husband using wife's account. If you don't want to say too, that's fine. You don't have to answer. Emotiva was having a 20% off site-wide sale. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, that's cool. A lot of brands have sales. Rhythmic just ain't one of them. Middle Earth says, what's the name of that 2H channel? It's Nightwood Guns. And the dude's into guns and anime, and he's done like videos that collab the two, but Nightwood with an N, like NIGHTWOOD. I'm pretty sure that's the channel. Let me check. And the dude has really good form too. Like when he shoots, like his grip, his stance is so good. Yeah, Nightwood Guns, great channel. Rachel says, not sure. I am just getting into audio because of the Axe Bonus show. Oh, cool. So what, you went to a show and you saw some stuff and now you're kind of like, hey, this is a new hobby for me? I respect the hell out of that. I think that's awesome. You know, this is a story I haven't told in a long time, but the Dyne Audio Special 40 was a speaker I owned. I bought it just to review it. I didn't have a relationship with Dyne Audio back then, so I just bought them. And like most speakers I buy just to review, when I was done with it, I had to sell it. So I made a listing on Facebook Marketplace, and this Korean guy DM'd me. I knew he was Korean because his name was in Korean, and Korean text is, you know, it's very obvious to me. It's got like the circles and the lines, you know, it stands out. And really soft-spoken dude, and I answered all his questions and this and that. Listen first, you know. I can tell the person was maybe by, and the dude came by, and it was a lady that pulled up, maybe 45 years old or so, I don't know. And I looked at her and said, are these for you? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, you're the person I was talking to. And she's like, yeah, not for my husband, these are for me. And I was like, awesome, I'm so happy, you know. And I asked her, have you always been into hi-fi? And she's like, no, I just got into it in the last 2 years. I didn't even know this hobby existed. So I thought that was so cool to see someone like in their mid 40s finding a new passion. And she was so passionate about it. She had one of the NAD all-in-one like streamers. That's also an integrated amplifier. She had the Dyne Audio emits. She loved the sound. She wanted to upgrade to another Dyne Audio speaker. And like she talked about all this stuff with a smile, and it was just so cool to see, you know. It was so cool to see. I love that. We're never too late to find new things that we enjoy, guys. Or sorry, never too old, I should say. Ted says, my hi-fi audio spinning has been curtailed due to Hurricane Helene. What a mess here in SC. NC has it worst. Yeah, that's... Natural disasters are... Those can cost some dollars, man. Serge says, you going to be at CAF? I don't know what CAF is, brother. I'm guessing it's a hi-fi show, but I don't know what that one is. So Fury Notes is asking, can the Vanity Transparent Zero sound good at 60 dB or less? I don't know, bro. I don't listen that low myself. That's really low. I I don't know. I think so. I think it will be okay because it is a very little speaker and it's very good clarity. It's very effortless for what it is. I think it will be okay. Yeah. Saul Orbach. When you gonna review Spendor Classics? How are they? I love them. I love them. I talked about it about 45 minutes ago in the stream, but it's okay. I'll say it again because I think every like 20 or 30 minutes, a lot of people rotate in and out. I love the Spendor Classic 3.1. It's the sound I like. It's like a Buchard S400 Mark II on absolute steroids. The bass is powerful. It's tight. It's organic. The mid-range is warm. It's tonally rich. The treble is rolled back. It's easy on the ears. It's definitely a little bit on the dark side of neutral. Look, yes, you're going to lose a little bit of your ultimate resolution or expansiveness in the mid-range when you compare it to something more detail-focused, but the sound is an emotional connection to the music. I love the Spendor Classic 3.1. I love it. Capitol Audio Fest in Maryland. Maryland's a dangerous place, brother. I don't think I'm going out there. Let's look it up, though. When is it? Capitol Audio Fest, Maryland. See, they got one in D.C., it looks like. Oh, no, November 8th. Nah, bro, I'm not doing that. Yeah, look, that ain't me. I do Axpona. And like, just to give you guys an idea, when I fly out and do a show, it costs me about $2,000. And I do have a good time. I do like meeting the people, but I don't. Look, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I don't love the shit enough to do it multiple times a year. One show a year it's plenty for me. I like hi-fi a lot. I'm just as passionate as the next guy, but it's. I think some people their hobby is like 50 to 60% of their life. It's a big part of their life, and I think some people it's even more, and I think some people it's less. For me, the hi-fi hobby is a small part of my life, but my passion is very high towards it, if that makes sense. Fury Note says, cool, thanks. Middle Earth. So I'm not doing a mesh repair, actually. They got some other stuff they're doing these days. But no, I'm not going to do the Pro Sibelius, bro. I don't do towers. I'm not into reviewing towers, really. And it's just not my thing. Also, the Pro Sibelius is a niche product. The value proposition of it is for a small group of people. It is a speaker that is designed the same way an expensive violin would be crafted, where they're very picky with the tonal qualities of the wood. You know what I mean? And that they're really tuning the hell out of this thing. And not everyone's going to see value in that, especially for the price they sell for. I think they've already been reviewed by enough people, and it doesn't need a Nemo propaganda review. I'm sure it's a fine speaker, don't get me wrong. And I'm not saying it's not worth its price, but it's I don't want to have to like sit there and get into all that personally. It doesn't sound like a fun time for me. You know, it's really simple. If you love craftsmanship, I think the Pearl stuff should get your attention. You know, if you don't necessarily care if something's like handmade or not, then you might think the Pearl's a little too expensive, perhaps. Rachel saying sorry for the late reply. Went with two friends to Axpona as it was a local show to us. It was a lot of fun. The Dyna Audio room was really nice, as was the Atoll room and the large flat panel speakers. Yeah, dude, Axpona was a lot of fun, man. That was a lot of fun. I saw a lot of cool stuff there. Most of the rooms sound really good. I know some people when they go to shows, they're like, "Oh, all these rooms sound like crap. My sound system at home sounds better." And everyone likes to get all hoity-toity about this stuff, and I think that's a little bit ridiculous. A lot of the rooms do sound very good. So you know the rooms that don't sound good oftentimes are like the mega buck rooms, and what's going on there is just like it, the stuff is too like specialized. Those megabuck systems, they need to be set up perfectly to sound their best. And if they're not, stuff could really fall apart. You know what I'm saying? So, all right. So again, look, guys, if there's no questions coming in, we are entering the tail end of the stream. You know what I'm saying? So if you got questions, ask them. I'm here for it. Whether it's hi-fi related or not, doesn't matter to me. I don't have any like topics to really discuss, so I don't want to like take up time for no reason. Larry says how to DM me. I'd prefer you don't DM me. I do have a free Discord, and I prefer you use that. That's a space anyone can go and join. The link is in all my videos. You can DM me on there, but that's not what I made it for. I made it so that we could all talk like openly and publicly. And if someone, you guys can chat amongst each other, but if you want my input, you can tag me and I'll respond. It's more of like a direct way to communicate with me, but I prefer people don't email me or DM me like one-on-one, only because like I'll still answer people's questions and stuff, but sometimes people start to take advantage of that and try to use me as like their personal advice guru. And then I ghost them. And a lot of the times it leaves other people out of the conversation. I like to help people publicly in case someone else has a similar question. So yeah, feel free to use my Discord, man. Rachel says some of the big expensive stuff did not sound good and was ridiculous pricing. Yeah, that's usually how it is. The big expensive stuff, this is what I've noticed. When a speaker starts to like enter that 25,000 plus price category, it starts to narrow what it's good at. There's a lot of songs you're just gonna have to skip, but that speaker might be like one of the best for piano or maybe a bass guitar. They start to become hyper specialized, much like race cars. The more high end a car becomes, think something like a Lamborghini. I don't know what the new one is they just released, but it's more of a specialized car. A Lamborghini is not going to be a great grocery getter. It's not going to be a fun car to drive around on bumpy roads. It's a specialized vehicle that's really good at a few things. And those few things are just performance-based metrics, And that's how those super high-end speakers are. They're really good at making certain genres of music sound great at the cost of making other genres of music often sound terrible. All right, guys, the comments have slowed down too much, so I'm going to go ahead and say it's a wrap. I take this as you guys tell me you've enjoyed it. We're at the 2-hour mark. The comments aren't organically coming in. I don't want you guys to feel forced to ask questions, so this is where we're going to naturally end it, guys. So as always, thank you for tuning in. Next week's video will be the Cabas Murano. You don't want to miss it. I said this in the beginning of the stream. I'll say it again. If you're in the market for a speaker around $2,000, the Cabas Murano is normally $4,400. It's currently on discount, 50% off. Best hi-fi deal of 2024, in my opinion, that we're going to see on a set of speakers in that price range. Without a doubt, they're incredible. So thank you guys for tuning in. Let's see if Nemo Propaganda remembers how to disconnect the stream. Boom.